Okay, so another week, another episode of The Idol. Let's get into this episode that just went off the rails, honestly, in the last 10 minutes. Before we get into it, I want to go ahead and let you know we are running a giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be subscribed. Comment below, I want to enter the giveaway. That gets you an entry to the giveaway, which will be announced at 20,000 subscribers, so don't miss out on it. We also have our merch drop just recently, which is the Vote for Pearl shirt. So if you vote for Pearl, you got to get that shirt. It's on our site. Culture Elixir, go check it out. It's the URL you see in the screen, or it'll be in the description below. Keeps the lights on for the channel. Really appreciate any help, any support. But let's get right into this episode. That insanity, just pure insanity, those last 10 minutes. And it's not really a good thing, but we'll get more into that in a bit. So this episode starts off where we left the previous episode, where Jocelyn's team is giving her this song that she has to perform for her comeback single and all of this. Jocelyn's not really feeling it. She's not really vibing with it. And Tedros, who also has come into her life now, is pretty much telling her it isn't good. I'll help you make something better, all of that. But the team's like, Jocelyn, no, we are putting this single out. We put our money into it. We put so much time and effort. Yes, because you're not feeling it. No, we don't care. This is what you're putting out. So this kind of putting Jocelyn into a corner and sort of making her get a little bit more like, Tedros is the only one that kind of believes in what I want to do. So I'm going to lean a little bit more towards Tedros' whole side of things. While all of this is happening, Leia, of course, her friend, is sort of like feeling like, you know what, it's not really good for her to be having so much trust in this Tedros guy that she just met. And it's kind of a little bit concerning as well. We also see that Tedros has been a little bit of a very, very creepy, cultish type person, as well as he has Isaac, another aspiring musician, sort of being shocked with a collar, and it's sort of to make them be better as it's being put by Tedros. So we see that Tedros kind of has this weird vibe to him, and this whole cult that he's running as well, which we're not sure exactly what this cult's end goal is. But we also find out that Diane might not just be Jocelyn's friend, so we'll get to that in a bit. We have Jocelyn, who is now needing to shoot a music video, and Jocelyn's not feeling it at all. I mean, this is somebody who has just come up from reeling from the death of their mother, so of course they're not going to be 100%. But the team's like, nope, we need it done, deadline, all of this. You have to do it. We spent millions of dollars, blah, blah, blah. Jocelyn, of course, is going through it, grueling after grueling after grueling take, not getting it right, all of this. And eventually, when Jocelyn does get it right, the camera has malfunctioned, all of that. So it is just a mess of things going on in Jocelyn's life. And that's what makes her really go and pursue Tedros again, even inviting him over to her mansion with his posse, which includes Chloe and Isaac. And Isaac and Leia have been getting a little bit comfortable with one another, even at the beginning of the episode. And they do so at the end of the episode as well. Very, very comfortable, let's just say that. But before that happens, Leia kind of questions Isaac about what's Tedros' whole intention and how did he even meet Tedros, which Isaac says that Tedros came to the church he used to sing at, and that's how he was basically scouted. Even calls Tedros godly, which kind of makes Leia a little bit concerned. But she puts that all to rest and has her thing with Isaac. On the other side of things, you have Chloe, who is just going around naked the house for some reason, and you have Tedros and also Jocelyn, who start to get down, very, very down, the most down I've seen HBO get. It felt almost triple X, and like if anybody walked in while you were watching that, they would be like, what are you watching? Because that is not an HBO show. That's something completely else that plays on HBO after midnight for sure. So I know that that was definitely something that kind of threw me out when I was watching this, and I was just like, what are we doing here, HBO and The Idol and whatever. And basically at the end of the night, Tedros tells Jocelyn, I'm going to move in. I'm going to help you get your things straight and your career back in order. Leia's a little hesitant after hearing this, but we'll see what happens in the next episode's preview. We see that Jocelyn's team's going to go face to face with Tedros, and we'll see how that eventually goes. But I thought this episode was good for the first 2/3 of it. I thought the whole aspect of Jocelyn dealing with her superstardom, her return, and all of that, sort of not meeting eye to eye with her team, who feels like they're trying to control her, and that's just because they want to make as much money as they can from her as well, and also her being the only one dealing with the whole thing with that picture that leaked as well of her, and then also the grueling music video. I thought all of those aspects of the show were really, really good, and they really had me wanting this show to be a little bit more about Jocelyn 100%. But then when we got to that last third, those last 10-15 minutes, that's when it sort of started to fizzle off and derail into something that I don't even know what to call it, because it's just Tedros sort of just getting his way around Jocelyn. And there is a way you can do that to make Tedros' character feel a little bit more menacing and all of that, but I feel like it just wanted to turn into something where it was sort of just trying to be edgy for the sake of being edgy, which doesn't work at all in this show. Like I said, Jocelyn's story, those first 2/3 of this story are just so great, especially those first 2/3 of this episode are just great. The storytelling, everything with Jocelyn and her team as well. I thought that was some of the strongest parts of this, and it really does shine a lot when it gets to that, and it really highlights those moments of her life as well, and just how that's sort of being dealt with, sort of opposed to what her team is wanting and talking about her behind her back. I think those are the more interesting parts of this whole show, whereas opposed to when we get to Tedros and everything else, it kind of starts to sort of feel like, what are we doing with this whole character here? That we get it, it's needing to feel cringy, creepy, and weird and all of that, but it sort of doesn't feel like that at the same time. It just feels kind of like juvenile of sorts. And you know what? We'll see what happens in the next 4 episodes. We have 4 to go. It looks like things are going to start to pick up steam as well as we get with the whole team trying to confront Tedros, maybe find out what Tedros' whole intention is or their past as well. I think maybe that's when we'll get to the juice of it all. But for now, Jocelyn's story remains king, and I'm excited to see what comes next. I think Tedros is going to be a very, very bad omen for Jocelyn, and Leia is the only one that knows it. But who knows how that's going to work with Isaac as well, as they're starting to develop feelings. And also you have the whole thing with Diane, who we find out in this episode is sort of trying to maybe replace Jocelyn, as she tells Tedros that Nikki is going to sign her to the label now, and Tedros is like, good, now I can get the return on what I invested on you, something like that. So it looks like Diane might just be trying to do something on her own terms as well, and Tedros as well. So I don't know, I think that they are trying to undercut Jocelyn in some way. We'll talk more about that in the theory tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But it is definitely getting interesting here. Like I said, the 2/3 of the episode are really great, but the last third and the last especially 10-15 minutes are just like, what is going on? But anyways, let me know your thoughts and opinions on it down below. What do you think is going on in this next episode with the team and Tedros going head to head, as well as what do you think about this episode? Like I said, Jocelyn's story is the most interesting. I hope the next episode really focuses more on that and her struggles as well, trying to sort of come back in a way to the limelight, but at the same time dealing with everything else that just happened to her. So I'm excited to see what comes next. But anyways, follow me for more things you love. If you want to talk more about the idol and everything, we'll cover it weekly. And as always, that's going to do it for me. Like I said, we are running a giveaway at 20,000 subscribers. Make sure you're subscribed and comment below I want to enter the giveaway. Also check out our merch. It keeps the lights on for the channel, really helps out a lot. URL here on the display. I forgot what I was going to say, on the screen, and also in the description. And we're on the road to 30,000 subscribers. As always, stay safe, stay positive.